you love entertainment, current events, and Hollywood, don't miss Creator to Creators, hosted by the filmmaker Meosha Bean, known for the Shudder hit documentary Horror Noir and the acclaimed film Anatomy of an Anti-Hero, Redemption. This show features interviews with filmmakers and creatives from around the globe. Join the fun with guest celebrities and gain valuable insights. Subscribe now and follow Creator to Creators.
Hi, guys. Welcome to another episode of Creator to Creators today. Today, we have a special guest.
Hi, John Martin Hunter.
Welcome, welcome.
Thank you so much. It's great to be here.
I love it.
You are a heroine of mine in that you've had this podcast. You've done a lot of podcasts.
Thank you.
And it's a wonderful thing that you were able to create it and give it life and have it sustain. Congrats.
Thank you so much. I'm truly grateful. I read that, you manage and produced a, this amazing project, and I don't know if I'm saying her name right. Is it Nia or
Nia.
Nia?
Yes.
Beautiful. Um, so first, let's start with you. Tell me a little bit about, going back to the beginning. I always say the beginning charts our trajectory in life, our little habits we pick up along the way, follow us into our adulthood. Tell me a little bit about, your childhood. What was that like, and how did you find your way doing the things that you're doing now?
I was an adopted only child. Um, so I was probably spoiled, certainly well cared for. And I grew up in an environment that was fomenting with intellectual input and artful input, musical input. Both of my parents were avid fans of the arts, and so I was surrounded as I grew up with some of which I loved, some of which I didn't love at the time, but piano lessons, dancing lessons, going to the theater, going to musicals, going to museums, and having a library card at a very early age, and just being immersed in, shall we say, input to a young, uh, open-minded sponge of a brain that wanted to just absorb everything.
I love that. I love that. That's beautiful. So here's the thing. For me, I always kind of knew that, you know, this entertainment or film was my, I guess, calling, my purpose. Would you say that what you're doing now is you are living your purpose, and did you find this early on? Or you've always knew?
Well, I've kind of felt, at the risk of betraying my age, I've kind of learned that every decade or so,
Hmm.
we either evolve or reinvent.
Mm,
And originally, I was a very good student. I was going to be a surgeon, um, fascinated with things with neurons and our neural networks and so on. But upon graduating from college, I decided to take a little time off to see what I could finally do with my music. And
mm.
so I put a band together and actually ended up on Columbia Records. It's a very long story for another day, but had 4 albums and
Nice.
toured and so on and so forth. Um, but then about 14 or 15 years later, I met someone who was starting up a biotech company,
Nice.
and they needed somebody, and this may seem unrelated, but it will tie together. Um, they needed someone who was creative, who knew science, which I did, and uh, they wanted to have a company that was based upon new discoveries from fruits and vegetables. And we started this at the turn of the century and actually built it up into a company of over 500 employees. And we have over 300 patents
Wow.
in nutrition. So we've done some discovering and some research. The reason I'm bringing this up is that anything that I did had to involve creativity. And I found whether you're doing math or if you're sitting at a drum kit pounding out a beat, or if you're editing a film, or if you're writing a novel, or if you're doing research in science, if you take it to the higher levels, it all transcends into an art form. Um, Comedy at its highest level is an art form. Everything, all the performing arts, of course, are art forms, but so are the sciences. So for quite a while, I was doing business development and leading a science research team.
Wow.
And I have moved into a part of my life now where I've handed that off to the younger generation. And I'm out here in California on my ranch with my horses.
Beautiful.
And I spend my entire day interfacing with animals from the smallest to the largest, um, sitting at my keyboard, working with my Pro Tools studio, communicating. I do occasionally talk to our largest customers still,
Nice.
but I've tried to set my life up where everywhere I turn, I'm either creating
Mm-hmm.
or I'm communicating with someone who's creating.
I love that.
That's what makes me feel good.
Mm,
That's what gets me jazzed about life on a day-to-day basis.
beautiful.
In the kitchen cooking, you know, it's all an adventure.
Yeah, I love that. Yes, I love everything you said because you work closely with um, Nina. So what is something about her as a person that you think listeners can hear in her music, even if they don't realize it?
She has sort of an intrinsic or instinctive basic understanding of what life is and maybe should be.
Hmm.
She's still young, so she doesn't have the mileage on her odometer, but she has um, an openness and a certain purity about her. Um, I mean, she's certainly an earthy person, has her feet on the ground, and can fantasize and create and so on. But when she puts it across, it's just genuine and
Hmm.
simple. And this, uh, bobble, bobble, wiggle, bounce. It's kind of a funny thing because when I conceived the song, I was thinking about someone jumping rope.
Yeah, yeah,
I grew up in Chicago, and people used to be in the summertime, they'd be out on the street, there'd be a whole crowd of kids, and they would have these big long jump ropes, double. They call
yeah,
it double Dutch,
yeah.
and they'd take turns jumping in and they'd be chanting different or singing songs, chanting songs. Um, I always thought that Jimmy Buffett's song "Cheeseburger in Paradise" would be a really good jump rope song.
Yeah.
I like mine with lettuce and tomatoes, Heinz 57, French fried potatoes. I mean,
Hey.
it just swings. Um, and that's kind of what this tune is about too. And
Mhm.
Nia, Nia is a vehicle and also a fountain of expressing that.
That's beautiful. And I just love that because when I heard it, I was like, wow, it just feels it's fun. And I was thinking the same thing, like, double dutch or jump rope, like just very youthful, very fun. I mean, especially in a time that we're living in right now, too. It's like, you need something like almost an escapism because there's so much going on. So I think it's just such a timely song.
I I agree. I have my fingers crossed that it will resonate. Um, I have literally hundreds of songs that I have not recorded, and many that I have that are just sitting around. And um, I'm not at a point in my life where I'm worried about stardom. I'm not worried about or interested in going out and playing 300 clubs in a year. Um, Kurt Vonnegut, an ancient American author, once advised people go in your room, work some hours, and write a good poem. And when you're finished, don't show it to your parents, don't show it to your friends. Just fold it up and tear it up in little bitty pieces and throw it away.
Mm,
And what he was really saying was the joy and the important thing is not the recognition that we get down the road, although we all, of course, bask in it and love it. But the really important thing is to create,
yeah.
is,
Love that.
is to do the thing in the first place
Yeah.
and do it over and over and over. And one of those times you might actually do something that's really good.
Beautiful. Yeah. I love that. Um, yeah, that's exactly how I feel. Um, when you're managing an artist, you're not just managing music, right? You're helping shape their career. What do you think Nia Nia's career is ultimately becoming to you?
We're kind of taking it a step at a time. Um, we're maybe being a little bit jealous about revealing too much about her or
I feel
even
that.
putting her out there because as you said, there are good things out there and we believe in the good things, but there's so much negativity.
Ah,
And
it's so sad.
especially in the milieu of the digital world,
Mm-hmm.
it's there's so much out there now um, in a negative light that I honestly wouldn't, I hesitate to have my kids exposed to.
Yeah.
And I kind of think of her in that way too. I'm not necessarily ready to release her into that till maybe she's got some more chops.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
And, another thing about this exercise that we engage in, and that's why I said you are a hero in that you had an idea and you put it out there and you're actually existing and surviving.
Mm.
And there is so much information out there that it's almost become a point where it's the largest library in the world with no card catalog whatsoever.
Yeah.
And so everything, and there's a lot of good stuff, but I see people who are really craving the opportunity to be heard and be
Mm.
seen and make their mark. And there's so many of them that it's almost white noise.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. I
So,
blame social media for sure.
well, right. And we're so susceptible to this dump of endorphins that we get instant gratification from
Mhm.
scrolling and, you know, um, the joy of concentration in reading a book or the joy of a simple conversation like we're having and maybe not being in a hurry and maybe not even worrying about, is this the most interesting thing I could have said today? Probably not. Um, but just being able to connect in human real time is becoming harder and harder for people to be able to digest, ingest, you know, or even request.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm so with you. I was just talking to someone about that, just how this industry has become, I guess, a little too serious about trying to manufacture the next big thing, quote unquote. It's like, why can stuff just be fun, like you say, and just, I mean, yes, that is something that we have in mind to get to the next level, but I think success is different for everyone. It doesn't have to be, someone at, I don't know, Aretha Franklin level, or I think if you do what you love to do and you put it out there, I think that's successful. But,
You're absolutely right. And I think, Miosha, you can relate. There have been times when I've been working on something that it was just so frustrating, and I just was filleting myself at my lack of ability to get this particular task done. But then there have been times when I finished something and I listened to it back and it actually made me weep. I was
Mm,
so much in awe of having had the privilege of being able to be the vessel that through which it passed. And if people can hear some of those things, um, irrespective of any recognition, that would be just a wonderful blessing, a wonderful thing.
yeah, definitely. What do you, what are you seeing in the current music industry that makes you optimistic about independent artists?
I actually think that indie artists are the future.
Mm,
Um, these are early times because we have, if you scroll through Instagram or anywhere on social media, you'll see all sorts of people pitching all sorts of products that will help artists get heard, get onto curated playlists, get here, get there. Um, but even that turns into noise after a while.
yeah.
But but there's an emerging thing. Mr. Gates said it just 2 days ago about AI. He said AI is either going to be the greatest equalizer that ever came along, or maybe the most destructive uh, thing.
Mm,
We don't know yet, but right now is an exciting pioneer time. If you're a songwriter and a performer, if you have something to say and you are willing to invest the calories and the time, what we used to call elbow grease, you can get heard.
yeah.
And so it's a brave new world. And I have great optimism for independent artists. Um, Having been on a major label, I know what that's like, and there are comforts to it because you have, promo department, art department, A&R department. You have all these different groups. But of course, you can, in a big label, you can easily get orphaned too.
Right.
If you're on your own, you don't have to stand in line or stand with your hat in your hand waiting your turn. Um, you can just get out there and do your own artwork or hire someone or do whatever you want. And So it's very liberating,
Yeah,
but it's a lot of work.
absolutely. Yeah. I was going to say, um, I guess what have you learned about the business side of music that's changed the way you approach developing an artist, like especially in these days?
Well, years ago, or in the past, the traditional way to achieve success was to strive for a record deal.
Right.
And the way most groups went about it, whether it might have been the Cars or my band or anybody,
Hmm.
um, you would put a band together. You would learn a bunch of cover songs. Then you would write a few of your own and you go play clubs in your region. You try and get a following and you keep adding more of your own material. And then you go into the studio and you would record a 3 song demo
Hmm.
and you would proceed to send it off to every record label in the world.
Wow.
And you'd sit there and wait, and you'd get these form letters back. Sorry, didn't work. Beatles got, they were rejected by every label until Capitol signed them. And I wonder what some of the people who rejected the Beatles think about at night when they're going to sleep. But anyway, it's changed now because I believe from what I've experienced, and I still have some visibility and transparency into that side of the business, um, A&R people are not working as hard as they used to.
Mm,
What they're liking to see is an artist that's breaking out on social media or making a big hullabaloo, a hubbub, if you will, on in their region in the clubs
gotcha.
and have a big following. Then they don't have to do that much work. Clive Davis, for example, an icon in the industry, he was famous for finding an artist that could carry a tune that he thought he could package up. And then he would work hard to get them the songs,
Hmm.
get them the material that would eventually put them over the top. Uh, Nobody really wants to do that anymore. I don't think the companies feel like they need to,
Right.
you know, and I don't know if it should be what I would call a baby artist's be all and end all to get signed to a major label.
Mm,
If you could get a dedicated group of friends who really believed in your craft and thought that the world just had to hear what you were doing, that dedicated group of friends could maybe do a lot more for you than a big label to start out with.
interesting. Yeah, I was, yeah, I think now that it's like, having a following and it kind of like a build, like having your own brand almost. And then I think those big conglomerates says they want to, then they'll come in, oh, you've built this. So we just have to
Right.
give you a little bit. And that just adds on to what you already created. But it shows the hard work that if you can create a following and, yeah, I do, but I do, there's something to me, I really like, seeing someone can build their brand from the ground up themselves and not have the big labels or major labels come to help them. I don't know. There's something about hard work that I just really enjoy.
Well, it's good for you too.
Yes,
It's
absolutely.
great for your brain. Hard work is good, especially if you have to enjoy it. Of course, if you
Yeah.
don't, you shouldn't be doing it. And at the point I'm at, I'm in a nice place. I'm not, I mean, I would enjoy taking this project over the top,
Yeah.
but just the sheer pleasure of putting it together and listening to it back and getting a chuckle out of some of the lines. And of course, I'm secretly chuckling because I've got about 8 more Nia songs lined up
Beautiful. I can't
to
wait.
follow up with. But baby steps, you know,
Definitely. I love that. I don't want to like I know you can't spoil it or say anything about it, but is there like a with all these songs, are they all kind of in the same kind of is there a message like if you listen to all of them like encompassing, or is it just like a fun type of good songs?
Well, I would say that overall, the overarching umbrella would probably be kind of a pop, progressive pop,
Hmm,
but interlaced very heavily with some hip hop and rap influences, and also um, some rock.
nice.
And so it's an infusion and it's eclectic in certain ways. There are no country country western influences as yet, but I think as a piece of work, it holds together, and the listener wouldn't say, "Oh, I don't like that kind of music." It's it's all similar enough that either they'll like it overall or they won't.
Right. What is um the bigger vision behind the Cowhand Rockstar LLC beyond individual songs and artist?
Yeah, I have a really big vision there. This is a little sidebar. I'm working on a country western project to be revealed later, but
Nice.
um, it's an album concept, and the concept is all about the real American cowboy of the Southwest.
Mm.
And so this is not your typical Music Row, rhinestones and glitter. This is about cowboying. It's about reining and cutting, um, riding saddle broncs, rodeo, um, the life in the American Southwest. There's
Mm.
and so Cowhand Rockstar, it sounds like kind of an anomaly, it doesn't make sense, but in fact, it allows for a very eclectic collection of artists. I have another male artist from Amsterdam who does very urban, he's kind of a poet and very infused with rap and hip hop. And he'll be under that umbrella as well. So eventually, I might just have it all under a radio station
Oh, wow.
kind of format that'll appear either for licensing in stores or as maybe a podcast, maybe just a weekly broadcast, maybe a 24/7. We'll see where it goes. Who
Beautiful.
knows?
Sky's the limit, you know?
Right. Or the seller, you never know.
That's great. When you look back at everything you've learned through your journey in music and entertainment, what is one lesson you wish you could give to the next generation of creators before they start their own journey?
Have a lot of energy. Don't give up on yourself. Don't be too quick to drop what you're doing and shift gears.
Right.
Be true to your mission and your brand. And I can explain that maybe a little better. We if we try to be what's happening today, we're already history.
Mm,
Um, just as an experiment, I sent a few songs to some song pluggers that are out there on the web
right.
who, for a fee, will review your song. And then if they hear something, they'll maybe represent it to some target audience, artists. I really wasn't serious about it, but I was curious of how it all worked. And one of the comments that I kept getting back was, well, I don't think this is right for today's market.
Hmm.
Well, that's a fair criticism. Somebody could always make that.
Hmm.
But if you think deeply about that comment, if you or I or any soul who is listening to what we're talking about today tries to write a song or produce a song that's right for today's market,
Hmm.
by the time they get it out in 6 months or whatever, today's market might not be that day's market.
Right.
It's shifting so quickly, and all it takes is, a Taylor Swift dropping a New Direction album,
Right.
or a Beyonce
Yeah.
dropping a New Direction album, or you name it. I mean, you can extrapolate in your own imagination. You have to be true to yourself and write songs. And if you're being true to yourself, you might not stick to the formulaic 3 to 3.5 minute song. Um, because if everybody does that, we won't ever have any more Bob Dylan's or Joni Mitchell's.
Right.
You know, people have to create and forget about the rules, throw out the rule book,
Throw out the rules. Yeah.
and don't put yourself in a position where you have to make money from your music in order to eat.
Mm.
Don't do it. Put yourself out there and support yourself somehow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Keep
Yeah.
your independence. The minute you lose your independence, you're a dead duck.
It's true. It's very true. Great advice.
Is this boring? This
No,
might
this
be
is
boring.
no, I love it. I'm over here like, wow, I love it. I think this is so powerful. Everything you're saying is absolutely true. I love that. Thank you. Thank you so much. I mean, I could talk another hour. Um,
Well, thank
but
you.
absolutely, absolutely. Where can people find you on social media to follow everything and to keep up with everything that you have coming up?
Um, I'm easily found on YouTube, just John Martin Hunter. And of course, Nia can be found on all the social media. And I'm, I guess, at Cowhand Lower Bar Rockstar on Instagram.
Nice. All right. Well, this was great. Thank you so much for coming on. It was a pleasure, and please come back again.
Meosha, I would relish speaking with you again. And
Aw,
conversely, if I can ever help you with anything or you just
thank you.
want to talk, I'm here.
Okay, definitely, definitely. Thank you so much. And thank you all for listening. And always remember to live, love, laugh. We'll see you guys next time.
Amen.